All right, so this is what I have covered so far. Persona pattern, specific role, and the responses will be spoken in that on behalf of that role. On the upper side, we have all these patterns super useful. It changes how the response will look like based on who you're talking to. And question refinement pattern, because uh, we sometimes don't know what kind of question to ask or what would be the good way to ask the questions. So we provide you a version, then we let you to refine it to make the questions much better. And then this one also very useful flipped interaction pattern. I give you example, you want to talk to an accountant to register a company, and the accountant will ask you a bunch of questions to collect the information you need. And then they finish the task you requested. And then when you work with AI on this one, sometimes you may not know what kind of information to ask. You can ask AI to prompt the question for you one by one, so you can have all the right answers, so they can also collect the information they need. The gameplay pattern is more kind of creating a game scenario. It's more useful as you to try to learn something. And finally, we also touched the recipe pattern, which is just a more detailed way to ask something you want to achieve. So this is just trying to give you a template that you can see. You can give some actual constraints. You can specify some of the things you know, and then let AI to be more specific to your needs instead of just genetically give you a solution. All right. Don't forget, last time I gave you a very important life lesson, okay, on the renting and or versus owning. Okay, as I told you before, the key here I think is I try to own a house as early as you can, as young as you can. I think the time is really the key. But in order to do that, you will really need to get this down payment ready. Okay, so depending on your location, depending on budget, you may have a different kind of payment. It could be big, could be small, but either way, try to have some saving. Just plan the budget ahead of time. Okay, the earlier you can get on this one, the better. And trust me, a lot of people run this as a business. Okay. There was one of my very close friend. Okay. They're a couple and they used to work in Amazon and also Citibank in New York. A pretty good job. And after 3, 4 years, they both quit. They don't work anymore. And then they basically full-time work on the real estate. So what they do is that I think it was in the New York State. Okay. So they started to run this one. I told you they buy a place, okay, and they calculate the mortgage, okay, and then they rent it out. And what they need to do is that they need to make sure that okay the mortgage, okay, is less than the rental income, or rental income is greater. Okay. Okay, so you buy. Let me recap. Okay, you buy a place. Let's say this small place. Okay, maybe it's cheaper. Okay, $150,000. Okay, and then you put a down payment, which is 30,000. Sometimes it could be less. Okay, and then your monthly payment or mortgage will be, let's say maybe 1,200. Okay, I didn't look at the rate. Okay, just assume. Okay, that's the case, right? So now this one is for totally for the investment, so you don't have to live there. So what you need to do is to rent it out. So for example, if you can get a rental income to rent this one as 1,500, okay, so that means you have a net income every month. It's $300. All right, so that's your income. Okay, so I just want to remind you, so don't underestimate this little income. You might say, "Oh, wow, come on!" So they work for Amazon and Citibank. They should make a lot more than this one, which is true. But guys, this one is something called a passive income. Okay, so if you look at a lot of financial investment books, they will tell you that this is that's something that you should try to enlarge. Okay, the passive income means that you're not really using your time or work to make that income. Amazon job, Citibank job is good, but you gotta work for them. You gotta spend your time. And one day you got sick, okay, you got accident, you cannot work anymore, then your income is gonna be stopped. Okay. Where the passive income like this one, you don't have to do anything. Okay. You're basically sleeping there, sit back, that's fine. Somebody else is paying that for you. Okay. Same thing for others. Like stock is you can also think that's a passive income, but I won't call it that passive because you probably need somewhere to look at it. And also there's some risks. Okay, but this is a fixed and guaranteed kind of income if you can get that number right. Okay. But this is just one, right? So once he got a first one and he put more down payment, he got a second and third and fourth. I know people they own hundreds of these small apartments in certain places, hundreds or sometimes 1,000. Okay, so eventually, the passive income could be really really huge. All right, but a lot of these things, guys, it takes time. Okay, eventually, your time is limited. So if you can start this a little bit early, the early you can get on board to own your first place, you will be on track, and it's not gonna take that much time to for you to own the second and third one for investment. Okay, so somehow just keep this in mind. I don't know if I when I talk about this one, how much of these things you can truly understand. But I did some have some kind of impression. One day you graduate, you start to look for rentals. I wouldn't suggest you spend a lot of money on the rentals. Try to get something just okay, save some money, and then move to your own place. That's the better way. Okay. So anyway, so I just found that's going to be much more helpful for you to know it when you are young instead of after you get 30 or 40 years old. All right. So the first pattern we're trying to talk today is called a template pattern. Okay. This one actually is very useful. Okay, so let me put this one a little bit bigger. To use this pattern, your prompt should make the following fundamental statements. So I'm going to provide a template for you for your output. X is my placeholder for content. Try to fill the output into one or more of the placeholders that I list. Please preserve the formatting and overall template I provide. This is a template pattern with placeholders. So this pattern is specifically used for you to specify the output. So normally the ChatGPT will give some kind of output in any ways they want to give you, sometimes very random, but sometimes we want to run the output to be certain kind of formats or templates. And that's when you can use this pattern to specify that. Okay, so let's see some examples. Create a random strength workout for me today with complementary exercises. I'm going to provide a template for your output. Capitalized word are my placeholders for my content. Try to fit output in one or more of the placeholders that I list. Please preserve formatting and overall template I provide. This is a template. Name, maybe repeats, assess, muscle groups, work, the difficulty scale 1 to 5, form notes. Okay, so we just want the output to be that specific format. Okay, so let's try this. If we do this, all right, you can see they are giving you some random strength workout options. I never do workout. I don't know if these things make sense. Okay. But as you can see, they clearly follow that kind of template you are asking. Okay. But then if you don't do this, if you ask provide random workout, of course they can still give you, but they're going to show you a lot more text. But this is much more organized in the format you want. And you can design a format in any way you want. So this pattern once again helps you to format the things for the output, okay, instead of the giving constraints on the input. All right. And let me see what else. Or maybe we do another example. So back to the real estate example, right? So if we'll start to kind of look for houses investment, okay, so Zillow would be a good place or Redfin, okay, either way is fine. So a lot of the time so let me show you an example. Okay, so let's say that in Pomona, okay, you're talking about some investment. Normally, what people do, it's a very simple thing. Like you just need to make sure that the mortgage you do is greater than the income, the rental income, right? So let's say we're gonna buy something near our campus, maybe somewhere here, okay? These are very cheap, but I think these are some of those mobile homes. I don't know if we've been there in around the Valley Boulevard. Okay, the place is really cheap, but this is just a mobile home. But it could be an investment, but location is really nice, very close to campus. I think it's going to be very easy for you to rent it all. I don't know if any of your friends or anyone who lives here or rent place here. Like this place, three bedroom, that means you can fit three people, and then the price is 200,000. Okay, so what they do here, as you can see, they also gave you an estimate on the monthly payment. Okay, so this is the payment they just estimate, which means probably 20% down payment, and then the mortgage, everything is $500, 540 43. Okay, so I think the way they calculate it is this, as you can see here, guys. So this one actually already showed you everything. So the total price, home price is 200,000, 9,000. And then you put a down payment. Oh, wait, so that's why you put it 80%. You can't put that much. So let's say I can only put 20% because you may not have that much money. Okay. 20% down payment. All right. So which means you need to pay $40,000 in the beginning. And then your loan get a loan for 80%. And that's 13 years alone. And the current rate is still pretty high, 6.63. With that rate, then you're gonna pay $1,000 and 75. Okay, that's the monthly payment. There might be some property tax and insurance, everything, but that's everything added together. That's $1,350. Okay, so but if you say I can't pay that much, I can only do like 10% down payment, which is fine, but then your payment will be higher. So you can always adjust it. Or if you say, oh, you know what, I have a lot of money right now in the bank, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna put $100, $100,000. That's gonna increase your down payment, and then you borrow less money, and then your monthly payment will also be down. So that's all like in the right portion. Once again, we go back to 20%, which is the typical rate, and then you're paying this one every month. Okay, the total like a cost. So, if you are gonna live there, so as I mentioned, there's three bedrooms, and then you live there, you're not paying anything, and then two other bedrooms, if you want, you can rent it out. And what you want to do is really try to make sure that you can rent out for at least, $700 per room. That will add up what was like $1,400, which is more than this one. And then that's very nice. You basically just leave there for free and other people are paying all the costs for you. Okay. And then don't forget this money here is still yours. Okay. You made a down payment, but this one is not gone. It go to the house. So you own the house. One day you sell the house, this money you get it back because you sold the house back. The house pricing is always going to go up. It's not going to go down for the long term. Okay, so that's why if you have that kind of down payment, okay, so it's really nice. Okay, all you need to do is move it from your bank to the house account, and that's it. And then you own a house, you start to get all the benefits, and then but then what I'm trying to show you here is that you gotta calculate it. I don't know if a room like this you can rent for $700. I feel it should be doable because the location is really nice. It's very close. And if you look at the pictures, I mean, it's probably very small, but not bad, not bad. I mean, you guys probably know the market better than I do. So, well, when you are making some of this investment or purchases, you basically have to look at a lot of this one. You look at a lot of information. You want to capture a lot of this useful information. Now, if you're a professional, you look at the page, you can probably get those very quickly. But then if you don't know this, and then we use AI, so we're gonna try to use this pattern. Okay, so um, I'll go back here, and so please analyze the gate uh, housing listing and generate a report or an investment report with the following format. The capitalized words are my placeholders for content. Please fit the output into those placeholders. Okay, this is the template. We're gonna do like I'll do the address, um, price, um, as estimated monthly payment with 20% down payment, and then estimated rental income. All right. I think that's the only thing you care about. Okay, maybe we add the number of bedrooms. Okay, right. Here is the listing. We're gonna provide this link here. All right, let's try that. And then they're gonna try to search the script, the page since it's a public. All right, this is a little bit more. They do give you this one, but the estimated payment they actually give us a lot of things. Let's anyway. Let's look at this one. So the address is here, price is here, a bedroom is here, and then estimated monthly payment. They did a lot of calculation here, so they gave you the same kind of range as we did. And then estimate rental income. Oh, actually, they did give us, they just provide a lot more information right here. It's better like analysis. Okay. The rental income is 1,500. Okay. So if you just look at this report, okay, it's very straightforward. Okay. It's better than you actually go here to figure out things, right? Honestly, this one, guys, is actually not a bad investment. Okay, because you clearly see your monthly payment is only this, and looks like you can get somewhere here um, with that number. I think it's reasonable. Okay, even you take one room, you can still rent it out the other two rooms. There might be a way that for you to make some income. So in terms of investment, this is good. Well, obviously, you still need to look at a lot of other things. Okay, and this one, just don't forget, it's a mobile home. I don't know what's other potential issues with mobile home, but yeah. Anyway, that's how you do analysis. Sometimes you go to a lot of house today because the housing pricing is still very high. Most of the houses in Southern California, it's very hard for you to make those kind of income. Okay, let's see if we randomly pick some of the more expensive one like this one. Okay, this one is more expensive. Looks like it's nicer, good yard. But then the price is higher. So uh, analyze this listing. All right, address, price, and bedroom, and estimate down payment, 20% down payment is 3,200, right? And then the rental is about here. So yeah, almost pretty much again break even. Okay. So this is also fun. But sometimes you got a too expensive one and the rental may not be able to cover that. So that's not gonna be the best investment. All right. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you got the idea. But here we're talking about a template pattern, very useful. Okay, a lot of time you want to output something, you want to, put that into a comma separated row for the CSV files. You can also use that one to specify. Okay, just don't forget you can always ask AI to generate the format in the way you want. All right. So as usual, I'll leave something for you to figure out. I'll try to come up with something useful. Okay, I'll send the same link here. Please submit your idea very quickly for me. Okay, same link here. All right. Very cool. some of the things you guys come up with. List all Marvel movies. Okay, you want to, put together some kind of a table or list. You can use that specific format. Uh, This is similar for music. So this is the example I mentioned. You can use comma, and they will generate the data in rows that will be formed as a format required by the CSV file. All right, and this is for recipe format, pretty concise ways to summarize everything. And just a reminder here, this pattern is also very useful for you in the near future if you try to make some API calls to OpenAI and then build your application. So we ask you to build your own application by calling the model. And a lot of the time, the AI will just give you a lot of text, right? That's not going to be ideal for your programming. For the program, you want some kind of specific format in the CSV, in a row, or in JSON, right? So this is the pattern to use to make sure that they generate the things in the format you want so that you can parse it. Okay. And yeah, so this is a more detailed pattern for recipes. Very cool. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you are very interested in cooking recipes. I see that from both this course and then the other software engineering course that a lot of folks are making projects related with those. All right. Kind of a study planner. All right. Sound good. I actually sometimes find if I cook myself, I tend to eat more. Uh, yeah, because it's a you can always get whatever you want. Mm. All right. Give you one more minute. Okay, everyone, please try this and submit it. Okay. All right. Anyone else? How about Carlos? I haven't seen your racing car example yet. Oh, here we go. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. All right, okay. You changed your topic today. Okay, so travel plans, very good. Oh, nice. Bird house. Okay, very cool. All right, sound good, guys. Okay, so once again, this one also very practical. Okay, especially when you do the programming, you will see that you will need to make sure the output is in that format so that your program can take the results easily and parse it easily. Okay, that's called a template. Few shot example, you might have heard about the term few shot a lot. What they're trying to solve here is that sometimes you don't know what to again you don't know what to ask, you don't know how to respond. um Sometimes the question may be very abstract, may be very vague, um but then you have examples. Okay, so um that's the time that you can think about the few shot instead of giving specific input prompt and ask direct what kind of output you want. You give input and output examples. Okay, that way the AI will learn it and they will know what you're looking for. Okay, so that's the idea for few shot. So here is example. So the input, okay, I want to work as a data science. The output, the course recommend to take is Python. The input is I want to work as a mobile app developer, and then the course I recommend to take is Flutter. The input is I want to work as a web app developer, and then they are supposed to give you this kind of output. That's called a few shot. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'm gonna put this into here. All right, I give input, this is the output, and input, this is the output, and I give another input. Okay, so we don't provide output, and let's see what they can provide. Yeah. Not necessarily they follow the format, okay, but I think we can use the template to kind of uh, let me try to see. Please take the following view shot example and generate the output with the same format. Okay, let's try this. All right, so this is a lot better. Okay, so basically, that's the input, and then that's output. Okay, so I'll say I want to work as a AI engineer. I don't know if there's this kind of title. All right, see, you want to take machine learning with Python. Input is I want to work as a product manager. All right, you want to learn the product management fundamentals. Okay. So anyway, so that's called a few shot. So you provide a specific examples for input output, and then they will be able to learn the pattern. So that way you don't have to describe it. Or this is an easy case for you to describe. You just want to talk about the occupation, and then the output will be the course recommended. Sometimes, if you're trying to, you know, maybe let's try another example. Okay, uh, learn from the following few shot uh, conversation examples and provide the output in the same format. Okay. So let's say like two people, one of them is always very negative and the other one is always positive. And let's see that, we're gonna say it. Um, so as let's say how's your day? And Bob, I'm gonna say, um, all right, not good. Uh, I have a midterm to work on, and that is that. Uh, um, okay, so what what's wrong with the midterm? I don't know. Okay, I'm just making some bad conversation here. And Bob said that I hate exams and I want to um, you know I want to spend more time on games. Okay. And as he said, well, you can still play games on the weekend after the exam. And then Bob will say that um, that's I need to join one gaming every single day. Um, I said, well, you are a student and you need to think about your career. And Bob said, game is more important than career. It's very stupid conversation, okay? But you got idea, okay? So, and now I'm gonna ask, okay, I'll say Alice said, um, well, so then I'll maybe just ask, okay, so um what will be the next question to ask? Okay, what are you going to um, so what do you want to do after graduate? Okay, let's see what they can say. Work as a game developer. So then let's ask more. So what are you going to do um, when you don't have an exam? I want to play game all day. So guys, so here I mean this example is very a little bit boring. Okay, so I probably should come up with a better one. But you saw the point. The point here is that I didn't specify what Bob should look like, what's his personality, his preferences, right? I'm just providing this free shot. And then obviously you can see the answers start to pick up that kind of personality and style and give me the answers. And I want to work as a game developer. I want to play game all day, right? So the AI very quickly capture that key. Okay. Otherwise, you have to say that what a personality Bob is. You're gonna say that he's not working hard, likes to play game, everything's about a game. You have to describe that. So in certain situations, probably it's very easy for you to describe that, but sometimes it's very hard to describe it, especially when we talk about personality, everything. Now, obviously, this example is uh, very, extreme, right? So, but sometimes people have a lot of mixed emotions, mixed interests. It's very hard to just describe it. So, providing an example like this, it will help. Okay, so that's a free shot example template. It's very practical. A lot of the time you don't know how to describe it, just providing examples. Okay, and you can even say that, oh, I saw some of these, um, projects really good. These are the projects I really like. Okay, give me some ideas that also, just at that kind of a level. Otherwise, you don't know how to describe it. You want to say, oh, I want a project that maybe use different technologies. I want a project that's more unique or those. It's very hard to capture every single uh, aspect. But if you just saw some good ones and provide those as example, and that's going to be your first shot example. Okay, so this is called a free shot examples. Okay, pretty useful. Okay, this one I won't let you to try because because this one's gonna take some time for you to come up with examples. But just remember, okay, you can always provide examples and then let AI to simulate it. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, this one is called a mental language creation pattern. So using generative AI, you could actually also define and create your own language. Okay, so let's just look at an example here, and it's going to be very straightforward to see. Here's the example. When I say, here's your language, okay, variations, parentheses, something. I mean, give me 10 different variations of something. So you are basically defining a little command. In other words, this is the opposite of the template pattern. The template pattern specified the format for the output, and this pattern specified the format of input. And then instead of like writing a lot more, and then you can just give this very simple command, which is in this kind of syntax you already defined. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, I go back here. So when I say variation something, I mean, gave me 10 different variations of something. I just give that kind of definition, and now they got it. Okay, so now we can try this one. I would say variations, and I'll say that variation of games to play. All right, and then we don't have to say too much. Give me 10 different idea of those, and then they just give you all of these things. They always give you 10, right? So we'll say variations, um, decide the presentation order for my class. All right. And this one just again, just as a kind of a sequence. How do we achieve that? All right. And then so that's the example. Okay, pretty straightforward. So you define a little bit kind of a command, and then you can do it. This example here, when I say text X and text Y, I mean text X depends on the text Y being completed first. Okay. And then you can see some example here. All right. We can also try to say that when I say, I would say like maybe get. Okay, sometimes we in other class we're trying to have students to practice the get versus task. All right. So we follow the pattern. I mean generate showing concrete get commands to achieve to finish the task. Try this. Okay, I'm gonna say get. I'll do like you know, push to remote, something like this. All right, and then they will just show you all the command here. All right, pretty simple. And now we'll do get. I'll do undo a commit. Sometimes you do something wrong, you gotta undo it, and then they will just show you all the command. All right, pretty straightforward. So you can define a little bit this kind of a small language on your own. Okay, so this is actually very useful. Now you can actually make the language more complicated if you want. Okay, so this in the past, if you want to do something like this, well, you do need to write a little program. It's almost a simple, small compiler or interpreter that you need to build a syntax analysis, grammar analysis, and then be able to, use very complicated program to do this. And now the ChatGPT can build this language very quickly for you. Okay, all right. And I know you can even do like more complicated languages. Okay, help me to design a small language with a grammar, with a syntax that specifies, what should we do? Specifies um, planning and preparing for college, career, and job applications. Okay, so we just want them to design a language, okay, probably to specify the goals, the sequence. We didn't give you that much detail, but let's see what they can do. And then they define something called domain specific language. And then they talk about the goals, the syntax course, and then here's the language. Okay, so they use something like this kind of simple, um, like blocks, like a JSON. Okay, milestone, college applications, career preparation, scholarship. Here's the task and the deadline, everything, and some of the tasks depends on the other one, right? Pretty good. Okay, see, they define this kind of language. All right, they give examples. All right. Yeah, and then you can obviously use this language and you can give the inputs, something like that. All right. So that's called mental language creation. Right. This one I will give you the slides. I won't let you to try it during the class. But this is more of a way for you to specify the input, the useful part that you can create your own command to simplify a lot of things. This is also a very small pattern that helps you to expanding things. Sometimes you will find if AI can give you very concise list of bullets as answers, it's better than give you a big block of text, right? So here, just look at examples here, okay? As an outline expander, generate a bullet point outline based on the input that I can give you, and then ask me for which bullet point you should expand on. Each bullet can have at the most 3 to 5 sub-bullets. The bullets should be numbered using the pattern, and create a new outline for the bullets I select. And at the end, ask me what bullet point to expand next. Add me where to outline. Okay, let's just try this. It's just a simple pattern for you to outline things with all the bullets. How to find a tag internship. All right, so they just gave you all this outline here. And pretty detailed steps, okay? Preparing yourself and search for opportunity, applying, and interview and preparation, and building long-term success. Which bullet point you want me to expand? I will talk about maybe how to prepare, right? So prepare, let's see, um, we'll see the linking profile optimization. How do we optimize that one? All right, so they're gonna expand this more. Okay. See, very small and simple prompts, but it will immediately, make all the output in that kind of format. It's very similar to the output pattern, sorry, the template pattern, but this one is just more specific, just to use the bullets and outlines. Okay, because reading all of this one is often more effective than a large amount of text. Okay, pretty pretty good simple tasks. Sorry, tips. Right. Others I'll go through a little bit quickly. Manual action patterns just also form some command. Okay, let's look at examples. It will be easier to understand. Whenever I type add food, you will add food to my grocery list and update my estimated grocery bill. Whenever I type remove food, you remove food from my grocery list and update my estimated grocery bill. Whenever I type save, you will list all alternative to my added food to save money. At the end, you will ask me what's the next option, right? So it's almost like making a small program. Okay, let's try this one. All right, so they even ask you to assume the grocery prices. Yeah, I'll just do it. I'll say add milk. All right, add steak. All right. See, every time you do, they just give you this one. It's already a program. Like you can probably write this one in Python in the terminal pretty easily, but this one you don't need to program. They just build this one for you. Okay. And we can see add soccer. It's not a typical grocery list. Wait, but let's give it zero. No standard price. Okay. And to add salad. Oh, sorry. They should be able to recognize that. Okay. I would say remove soccer. All right. So it's a little program that already works for you. Okay. So this is called a manual action pattern. Just specify all the options you want, and then the functions, they can do it for you. Okay. So it's a really nice kind of to see all these possibilities, the kind of creative ways people come up with to use AI more effectively. Okay, so you might find one of these one to be useful for some of your cases. The rest are very simple. I'll go through this quickly. Fact check list pattern, just to fact check, right? So whenever you output a text, generate a set of facts that are contained in the output. The set of facts should be inserted at the end of the output. The set of facts should be fundamental facts that can determine the veracity of the output if any of those are incorrect. Okay, so try this one. So basically asking you to provide more references and the support. Okay. So how is the current tech job market? People are saying that it's very slow and hard to find jobs. Right. As you can see, the cool thing here is that they are providing all the fact checks. Okay. This is very useful when you are doing something that you're very worried about the hallucination from AI, and they sometimes give you just totally like wrong answers. But here you can at least see the facts, the links. I think they've been improving this a lot. A lot of these links are pretty good. In the early days, a lot of these links are kind of wrong, but now they kind of provide you the better links. Okay, so this is the fast chat. All right, just add that to the top, and then all the other things you do, you will see all this support evidence and links. All right, that's the fact check. The rest are pretty, small patterns. So this is called a tail generation. Just look at an example. It's very similar to the outline expander. Generate the bullet point outline based on the input I gave you, and then ask me for which bullet point you should expand on. Create a new outline for the bullet point that I select. Then ask me what bullet point to expand next, and ask me what to outline. And from now on, at the end of your output, add the disclaimer. The output was generated by a large language model and may contain errors or inaccurate statement. All statements should be fact checked. Ask me for the first thing to write about. Just to give you something in the output, always to as kind of a footer, kind of a note or something like this. Okay, so um, we'll just show this one here. Yeah, we'll say how to learn Spanish. All right, they still do those, but at the end, they should give us a little kind of a disclaimer. Oh, right here. All right, so this is the one that we're talking about. Okay, the tail generation. Okay, pretty simple, but pretty cool. Okay, the last one. Okay, semantic filter pattern. Filter this information to remove facts. Okay, you will need to replace X with the appropriate definition of what you want to remove, such as name, and dates. Okay, so examples. Filter this information to remove any personal identification information or information that could potentially be used for re-identifying a person. Okay, or filter this email to remove redundant information. Okay, so this one just kind of modify the content of a given text. Okay, to as you can see, some of these are very useful. If you don't want to show the personal information or remove those, that will be very useful. Okay, so this one pretty simple. I won't show the example. All right. But anyway, guys, here I just list a lot of these ones I think very useful. But the patterns in from different field, different domain, people are still summarizing, generating a lot of different ones. So the purpose of this part of the course is that for everyone to be aware that as you use patterns, most of the time you can do it just freely in the way you want. But in certain cases, if you pick the right pattern, follow the right format, okay, your answer will be much more different and more effective. Okay. And also, as you do certain things repeatedly, it's maybe sometimes for you to think about how do you summarize a pattern. So that's very easy for you to, you know, to try next. So anyway, so what I want you to do next is I'm not going to show you more patterns. You can search a lot of the patterns, but next week I want to see some of the new patterns you guys come up with. Okay. Remember, one is something like more abstract, very similar to like this one, very abstract. You can do any kind of things, and I'm going to show you this online expansion. The other one could be very specific to one type of application, since you're very familiar with as cars or movies or recipes or those to summarize something useful. Okay, so next week Tuesday we want everyone to present it. All right. Okay, guys. I think that's all I want to cover today. Okay, on Thursday I'll show you some other tips about using the patterns or the prompts, and then yeah, that will wrap up this part of the discussion. All right. Any questions? All right. If not, I will see you guys on Thursday. Okay, we'll still be meeting on Zoom on Thursday.